share my screen and go into my PowerPoint. Come on, share. I really don't like not having a real mouse. Okay, and we are going to start at the beginning. Where there it is. Come on, move out of the way. There we are. Okay, can you see that okay? Or are you seeing the, is it just the welcome? Or are you seeing the side part also? Okay, let's see if I can fix that. There, that's the ticket. All right. Okay, so now we're actually ready, and we are, y'all are seeing just the welcome screen, right? Awesome. Welcome to everyone here in person and everyone at home who's joined us for our October 2021 meeting. I know some people are traveling and can't be with us today, but we're recording this, so that way they'll be able to find it on our YouTube channel once we're all done. So the very first thing I want to share with you all is the fact that we actually had a graduation class after postponing our 2020 class and feeding them all into the 2021 class. We had a class. Wait, let's see. Are you seeing? Yeah, that's not what I want. Here we go. Ah, there we go. So y'all can see in here. So we had 41 students graduate. We had, let's do that. We had the students that have the asterisks behind their names are the ones that actually certified when they graduated. And we're very excited to have them all join us. Scott Ball is to be commended for taking this on. It was quite a year having to do things hybrid, starting out totally virtual and then going to hybrid. And everything that we did was a new learning experience. So every place we went, even if we had been someplace and it worked beautifully the first time, the second time we went, it was like no go. So it's always a learning curve. We're on the bleeding edge of technology, as someone told me once. So that's not fun, but yeah, it's the bleeding edge. So we had 8 of our students who certified as well as graduated, and one of those is Darla Oakman, whose birthday is today. Yeah. Yay, Darla. Darla's here with us today, and we are very excited that she joined us. Let's see. Okay, so are you ready, Melissa?
Yeah, I'm fine. So bear with me.
Oh, that's okay. You can come now.
No, I don't have hours, so
That's okay. That's
With-
all right.
I was in the process of having accreditation at the center that I sold.
Oh,
And it was so much work, so.
accreditation is. Have a seat so
Oh,
they can
sorry.
hear you.
Okay, so we have a few certifications. I believe, Darla, you got your pen already. Okay, so I'm not sure if Dana got hers already, but if not, she gets this little pen. And Ruth certified as well, and Gwen. And I don't think they're not here today, but hopefully they'll come to our pen pickup on October 16th, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Bruce, did you get your pen?
Awesome. Bruce Steinley.
So we're catching up on some of the pens, and I'll mark him off for certification. And then I'm gonna go forward.
Go.
And Bill got his pen, right? Did you give him his pen?
I gave Darla.
Okay, I'll give him, I'll go get another one because
Okay.
I didn't,
You didn't
I
get
thought
that
she
one?
gave it to, yeah, we'll go get another one. I have more. A whole box. When we were at the graduation the other day, we tried to give pens to people who hadn't picked them up. So everybody was getting their pens. Yes, she did get it. She said, is it the sea oats, Bill? Okay. Okay. That's all right. Somebody else lost a pen too, so don't worry. I think it was Scott Paul. Scott was telling me he lost a pen. Okay, so for milestones, we have a couple big ones. And I see you's not with us, but he also got a 2,500 hour milestone. And then Corinne is with us. And that's all for pins. And a lot of people just have like 3 hours, 4 hours, they're off and they'll be certified as well.
Awesome.
I'll probably send out emails to
And see-
everybody.
Hugh is on right now, so congratulations, Hugh.
Tell him, and I guess maybe they can come by and pick up their pins on
Thank you.
on the 16th.
On the 16th. So let's see if I talk about it. Oh, no, the next screen is about voting for officers, which takes place on November 3rd. And these are the usual suspects. Carson Stokes is getting very involved with BLC, Bayou Lane Conservancy. So Darla Oakman has agreed to run for vice president, and we're very excited to have her. So this is the slate as we have it now. If anyone would still like to run for office, they need to get in touch with Diana Foss or Andre Hauser. Their email addresses are on our website under board. So as it is now, we have a complete slate. Yay! We have polo shirts that we are ordering that actually have underneath the logo, the regular logo, it says Heartwood chapter, which is really awesome. We needed to reorder some for the intern class because we ran out of smalls. And so we have to order a certain amount to get the price break. So if you'd like a polo that says Heartwood under it, please let me know. There's actually a link on our October 4th bulletin, so you can let me know what size you want. And then we still have polos that don't have Heartwood on them. They're the green polos. And you can come by on October 16th when we do the pin pickup and buy some of those. We just have a few of those sizes, but we're ready to get rid of them and make room for all the ones that say Heartwood. For name badges, we have new name badges. For people who have lost a badge, there's a new, it looks like this. I wonder if they can see that. Can y'all see that? Tell me somebody.
Yes, we can.
Thank you. I knew you would do it for me, Steve. You're so good. So new badges that look like this. They no longer make the little plastic badge with the little green dragonfly. So we went to this badge that has full color dragonfly. If you have lost your badge, we can replace it. If you just want a new badge, then it's $10 per badge. If you've lost your badge for like the 3rd or 4th time, it's $10 a badge. When you go into the website and you're looking at the calendar to see what kinds of things are coming up that you can actually get out and do, I want you to notice now that we do have a bar across the top of the calendar itself that has advanced training, chapter events, chapter meetings, intern training classes, junior master naturalist program. It has all of those different categories, and you can click on that and it'll just pull those up. I also want you to be very aware when you go in and look at the calendar, and I'm expecting everyone to check their calendar frequently because we have so many things going on in the fall, that at the very top, that second line down, the list of unscheduled work at your own pace volunteer activities, when you click on that link, it's going to take you to things like Adopt a Loop. It's going to take you to things that like working at Mercer, where you go in on your own schedule, which is really nice when you're a volunteer and you're looking for things that you can actually work at that fit your schedule. So don't forget to look in those places for things to do, okay? Just wanted to remind everyone. Our pin pickup is on October 16th. I'm going to give y'all a little while to check out everybody's picture. This is so cool. I did this collage today and I was just smiling because everybody comes up and they're smiling and they're happy and they're ready for their pin. So our pin pickup is going to be on October 16th at Jones Forest from 9 to noon. We're going to have the pins available for the interns who didn't make the graduation. We're going to have their lanyards and their shirts available for people who are interested in participating with Cocoa Roz. I still have some official Cocoa Roz rain gauges for sale. They're $32. If you buy them directly through the website, I think they're like $42. So I bought them in bulk so we could get a break on prices. And let me think, what else can we do at pin pickup?
Is Bobby coming with the cookies?
Bobby, we're going to have to decide something new. Last time, the very first time we did pin pickup, we had cookies done that were in the shape of a dragonfly, and they were stunning. And then the second time we did pin pickup, Bobby, we brought our little toaster oven and he made cookies to order. And it was such a hit that people were smelling it in the forest and coming over to find out what we were up to. It's kind of fun when you're in the forest and you smell chocolate chip cookies. So we haven't decided yet what we're going to do for our pin pickup on the 16th, but we're hoping we do something fun. Let's see. Let's go to the next. Oh, that's cute. Somebody says they love the collage. And Hugh's going to be out of town. Hugh, when you come back into town, you let us know, and we're going to bring you that silver pin because that is just 2,500 hours. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I'll get it sooner or later.
Yeah. Okay, so on to our advanced training opportunities. For those of you who aren't aware, we have started a program called Saving Nature, which is an awesome opportunity for, let's start at the very beginning, shall we? Because I will get very excited about this and then I'll forget what I'm talking about. Okay, so we read Doug Tallamy's book, Bringing Nature Home, and we decided that it'd be great if we could let people know how important it is to bring native plants into their landscape, how it'll increase diversity, increase habitat, protect the insect population, increase the birds that come to your yard. And so we developed a program called Saving Nature, Conserving Native Texas 1 Yard at a Time. The program, in order to be involved with the program, what we're asking our volunteers and our members to do is to join the Native Landscape Certification Program and our local chapter of NPSOT, the Native Plant Society of Texas. The Pines and Prairies chapter is actually hosting that level 1 class coming up October 30th and 31st. Now you can go to the NPSOT Pines and Prairies chapter page and register there. And I hope a lot of you do. And I look at it as the 3 A's. First, you attend this. Then you become an apprentice with someone who really knows their native plants. You go out with them. We go to a homeowner's yard. We discuss what plants would really work in their yard and where they would work. We write up a report. It's not a garden design. We're not there to design their landscape. We're there just to tell them, you know, this is how to incorporate some native plants in your landscape. And these are the invasives that you need to consider replacing. And so this is our very first class that will get people into the program of Saving Nature. After you apprentice, then, you know, and you feel comfortable, then you can become a native landscape advisor. And because we don't believe in throwing you to the wolves and saying, oh, look, you took the class, go out and tell people how to do their yard. No. We're going to, you know, introduce you into it, get you comfortable with it, make sure that you enjoy what you're doing, and then we're going to turn you loose. So we hope that a lot of you join us in this endeavor because it's very important. I'm trying to remember what Doug had said. What percentage of the insect population is gone? Mike, do you remember? No. Okay.
Well, we've lost 3 billion birds since 1970, and percentage of the insects, that doesn't come to mind, sorry.
That's okay. Just knowing 3 billion birds are gone, that's one of the reasons we think this is so important. Today we were out at Mercer looking at the native plants that are going to be introduced. And so I thought I'd share this picture with everyone so that they could see what we've been up to. We have a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. Mike has been quite the go-getter when it comes to putting all the information together. And here we have Gail McConnell, who is the president of the Pines and Prairies chapter of NIPSOT, Carson Stokes, our vice president, Carolyn Worsham, who is our computer guru, as well as one of the educators for this class. There's Mike McGee sitting in front of me. And sitting to the side, we have Kathy Herrick, who is, I think she's the coordinator for this class, yes. And Bob Daly, who is also going to be one of the instructors. Another opportunity for advanced training is, of course, the Master Naturalist annual meeting, which is coming up shortly. They are still accepting virtual registrations. The virtual registration is $125, and you get access to all of these wonderful meetings. And even after the meeting, they are recording them. You still get access to those. So this is considered late registration. I think anything after October 1st was considered late. So they've added the $25 late fee, but this is still available. If you want to get all of your advanced training hours in one spot and one big go, this is the way to do it. And it's amazing the things that you can learn about and be exposed to and come away with fresh ideas. Brenda, are you on and able to talk, or are you out running those roads still?
I just ran in and sat down at the computer, so yay!
Yay, you did a great job. So tell us about this, Brenda.
Oh, this one I really love. And I'd like as much feedback as I possibly can from you guys, especially on days of the week or weekends. But we are now volunteering at Friends of Texas Wildlife. And I don't know if most of you guys have heard of it, but they have some pollinator gardens. They're really excited for us to get in there and be creative, take out any of the non-natives, add as many pollinator plants, things like that we can do. There's lots of work to be done. And so I'd like to hear from you guys as to if you would like this on a Tuesday, Thursday, one day a week, maybe one day on the weekend. Kathy over there has given me the code to get in, so we can go when we feel like we have the most volunteers. They're super supportive. They're wanting to buy plants for us to plant. They've got supplies, everything is there. And I think this is a great opportunity for us as far as volunteering and getting the pollinator gardens and the natives plants out there. So yeah, that one is awesome. And the owls are precious too.
Those owls are cute.
We are. Oh, this one is all of our favorite. Anyway, the Butterfly House in Pocket Prairie. There is a group of ladies who are very dedicated to creating a butterfly house and the Pocket Prairie out at Jones Forest. So if anybody would like any more information on that, please feel free to email me. Right now it's in the works, but we're going to be summing that up, I think, after another meeting. And yeah, we'll be looking for lots of volunteers. So please let me know.
This is very exciting. And it's
Yes,
not
it is
just
very
ladies. Don't just.
Oh, that's true.
That's right. That's right. Chuck is our man
Yes.
with the hammer. So,
Exactly. You're right.
and-
You're right.
And don't forget, Bruce here has been working very hard on that garden out there too. So
He has. We actually, and we have Mookie. We can't forget Mookie. Mookie's been out there in our emotional support animal. So yes.
that's so awesome.
We
Let's
love it out there.
Thank you so much, Brenda. I so appreciate it. As you saw from this slide, Brenda's email address is heartwoodvsp@gmail.com. Just email her, let her know which one of the projects you're interested in, whether it's the pollinator garden at Friends of Texas Wildlife or at the Butterfly House or the Pocket Prairie, and she will get you in the right spot. Oh, too fast. Too fast, too furious. Terry has a few more events coming up for our watershed project committee. She has a meeting scheduled for October 7th. Ongoing, of course, is the storm drain markers. There are several dates for the village associations in October to let them know about the WaterWise Village Challenge. And she also is presenting a Texas Water Specialist Curriculum Discussion Group the first Monday of each month. So you can contact Terry at heartwoodh2oresources@gmail.com for more information, and she'd be happy to help you with all of that. Maury, you ready to come up and introduce Claire? Let me see what this last chat is about. Make sure I'm not losing anybody. Yes. Oh, yes, the directory. Yes, indeed. Okay, so for the directory, what we're trying to do is, because it's very hard for us to see each other on a consistent basis, we'd really like to be able to have a place for our members to go and say, well, you remember so-and-so, and I think he's married to somebody who does whatever. It would give you a place to go and find their face and put a name to that face. It's going to be on a password protected page, so it's not as though everybody in the world will get to see the pictures. It's just for our members, and it's just our active members. I will send out the password to that page to our active members. We're still working on putting the directory out there. We've been slowly in dribs and drabs getting pictures in, but I really would like for everyone to make a conscious effort to send us a picture. Include how you'd like to be contacted, whether it's by email or phone or none of the above. If you just don't even want to hear from anybody, but just, it's okay with us. If you took a vow of silence, we will respect that. So, so please do take a moment and send that picture to heartwoodweb@gmail.com. And there was something else I wanted to share. Steve, can you see this?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. This is the inaugural class of the Junior Master Naturalist, Heartwood Chapter, Texas Master Naturalist. Right. Okay. So I will pass this around so all of you can see it, because I don't think any of you can see it in here. And see, this is the problem with hybrid, is that I didn't put it on the slide. So y'all can see it at home because it's on my phone, but they're not seeing it in here. I will pass my phone around and let you look. But they're a great group of kids. The second class is going to be not this Saturday. This Saturday. It's this Saturday. I am going to be there. Just because I can't resist. Okay. Anything else? Am I forgetting anything else? Okay.
Somebody asked if there's a fee, probably for that native landscape class.
There is a fee for the native landscape class. It's $45, I want to say. Yeah, it's $45. And then I think Ruth was asking if there was a fee for the badge, and because you transferred over, no, there is not. For our new members who've transferred in, there is not a fee to get a badge that says Heartwood Chapter, because we want to have you here. Okay, you are ready, Mari? Okay, let me go to the next slide. There we go. Here you go, Mari.
Okay.
You want to use that?
No, I don't.
Okay, we'll talk loud because
I
it's
will.
a big room.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm Mari, and I'm going to be introducing our speaker tonight, and I'm very excited because I have been following Claire on Facebook with her worldwide travels for a few years now. But she started out as a Texas Master Naturalist in 2014 when she was certified. But prior to that, she worked for Pennzoil and Quaker State and Shell Oil Company. So we know she was on the other side. Now, we do know that Claire is a volunteer and educator at the Friends of Wildlife Texas, Friends of Texas Wildlife. She's also a bat colony surveyor. Oh, yeah. And a bat chat leader at the Wall Street Bridge, right? The Wall Avenue Bridge.
Another bridge.
Another bridge, Watauga?
Watauga.
Watauga, yeah. So Houston has its own populations of bats. And so she's on the Houston bat team. Now, from 2012, Claire has been the second vice president and webmaster for the Piney Woods Wildlife Society. If any of you have gotten to listen to some of their meetings, they're birders, they're real birders. So she's going to be talking, and she's a webmaster there because she went to school for computer science at the UT Austin campus. So any technical questions, Claire gets them. And she is the Christmas bird count compiler for the Spring Creek Christmas bird count, and that's for Audubon Society. So we are going to hear Claire give us all kinds of bird tips, but where and when and how. So Claire, are you ready? Okay, come on up.
Take this one out. And stop. And share. Okay. And this pen. And let's pull it up. Hang on just a second, guys. We're getting it all
It's under the TNN folder,
in. Good.
and it's the one called
Counting birds?
Counting. Yeah.
There we go. And then let's go into this mode. And then go down here. No, maybe I should have done the other thing first. Let's do the other thing first. Let us share our screen. There we go. Share screen. And it is going to be this one. And then we go up here.
Was that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's see. There it is.
That's
Perfect. All yours, darling.
All right.
Thank you.
Low light is best for me.
Oh, that is much better.
All right. Hello, everybody. Let's see if this is working.
You might just need to hold it in front of you. Oh, no, that's good. Talk.
Can you hear me?
Perfect.
Yep, we could hear you. Excellent. All right, I've been asked to come and present to y'all about counting birds, which is science, fun, and conservation. The bird counting that we do now is logged into various systems and is used by scientists for research and discovery. They can see changes in migration, locations where birds didn't used to be but are now, larger numbers, smaller numbers. The scientists just love the huge database of information that's now available because of all of the birders that enter their data. And then similarly, there are systems for putting in information about insects that you see, like butterflies and dragonflies, about plants, bats, and other animals. These are some of the organizations that have created some of these databases and these apps that we use to log in our information. The first two are the biggest ones around, Cornell and Audubon. Cornell has just done so many different things, and eBird is the basis for a lot of that. And Audubon, we're going to talk more about the Audubon Christmas bird count. National Geographic has done several things. There are several universities around, many universities that have done projects using these research capabilities, and of course, grad students and doctoral students. And the good thing for you as a Texas Master Naturalist is that you can get volunteer hours by doing fun stuff like looking for hummingbirds or dragonflies or birds. These are a few of the field research options that are under our volunteer VMS system that allow you to get credit for the time that you spend on different projects involving these different areas. Like the last one on the right is the Houston Bat Team. So eBird monitoring is in the middle on the right, Christmas bird count. There's even bluebird monitoring, feeder watch, butterfly count, all these different things. So those are just a few of the ways that you can. The bottom one on the left is the Jones State Forest RCW project. RCW standing for Red Cockaded Woodpecker. And Donna Work comes down. She's a biologist who lives, I don't know, like 3 hours north of Jones State Forest. And she comes down periodically to monitor and tag the red cockaded woodpeckers. And you can get on her email list and she'll let you know when you're coming. And it's fun to go out there and help her with her work. It's amazing to see 60-year-old woman climb these pine trees. She has special ladders and a series of ropes and different things that she uses to get the babies out of the deep nest and lower them down. And she has a thing called a peeper scope. So she doesn't have to climb to do that. She just raises it up on a big long 50-foot pole, and then she sticks the end into the hole, and it has a downward facing camera. And so she is able to monitor those red cockaded woodpecker eggs and chicks without having to climb each of the trees. And, might be a squirrel in there, you never know what you're going to find. So that's a lot of fun. The Christmas bird count is my main activity as far as the number of hours that I get for volunteer, because I'm the compiler for, well, I'll get into that in a minute. Let's just talk about Christmas bird count generically. It is the oldest and largest citizen science project. It started 121 years ago on Christmas Day in 1900. John James Audubon called it the Christmas bird census at that point. And he was trying to discourage hunters who back in that time, there was an idea that the hunters go out on Christmas Day and they try to kill as many birds and as many animals as they can. And they bring a big old pile of dead birds and animals back, and the biggest pile wins. And so he definitely wanted to try and redirect that to something a little more environmentally friendly. The Audubon maintains a system where the compilers enter in all their information, and there are historical trends, and they can do research on that data. And it goes way, way, way back. There are Christmas bird count circles all over the Western Hemisphere. And there are just scores and scores and scores of them in Texas and in every state. A Christmas bird count circle is defined as a 15-mile diameter circle. You pick the center and it just goes out 7.5 miles in every direction. And the compiler picks one day between the 14th of December and January 5th to be their day to count the birds in that circle. And it's the compiler's job to get teams together to go out in different spots, different areas in that circle. And then more recently, we've added feeder watchers, people who have either good habitat or feeders in their yards and want to spend as much, 15 minutes or 5 hours, it doesn't matter how much time they spend. Then they fill out the form, send it to the compiler, and we combine all that information for the count circle. So here are just some of these are all of the count circles in the majority of Texas and Louisiana. I just thought I'd show that to you, how many there are. And then zooming into the Houston and Beaumont area, this shows you the count circles in our area. And they're on different days, so you can participate in several if you want to. I usually participate in 3 or 4 of them. My circle is the one that's centered on the woodlands. It's top middle under the word bird at the top left side of the screen. And I also help lead a team for the Cypress Creek bird count, which is the one to the left of that, west of Cypress. And I usually help the team that surveys Galveston as well. So it's a lot of fun wandering around looking for birds in the cold usually. This is a close-up of my Spring Creek Christmas bird count circle, and just a general circle of each of the teams and the areas that they cover. The date for this year is Saturday, December 18th. No experience needed. I'll even give you a pair of binoculars if you don't have any. Just let me know. So if you can help out, let me know. We have a team. Crean covers the Jones State Forest, which is the small circle at the top. Rob Comstock and Jojo Bradbury cover the woodlands. I lead the team that starts at Hooks Airport in the lower southwest part of the circle. Al Barr, who many of you know, leads the team that covers Mercer Punt and Spring Creek Greenway. David Henderson is going to try and do a kayak survey of the West Fork of the San Jacinto River again this year. We've had bad luck with big storms just a day or two before, a couple of times in the last few years. So we're hoping for better weather this time. And then in the middle is where the ExxonMobil campus is. And for several years now, except the COVID years, we've partnered with them and sent 2 or 3 leaders, and they get a group of ExxonMobil employees or retirees who are interested in birding, and we lead them around their campus looking for birds on the campus. They've done a really good job of trying to be nature oriented and bird friendly there. They've got a lot of nice property and forested areas. They've got some big retention ponds and some prairie areas as well. So it's nice habitat. Unfortunately, non-ExxonMobil people can't go onto the campus to bird there, only if you're a team leader. I haven't heard back from them this year to see if they're going to start back after COVID or not, but got an email out to Rita to try and find out. Other birding that you can do in your backyard and get the credit for, the volunteer hours, field research credit, here are some of the projects. Nest Watch is a Cornell project, and their idea is to get reports of birds making nests, laying eggs, and fledging young. Great Backyard Bird Count is a Cornell and Audubon combination effort, and they pick a long weekend in February. This year they picked the 18th through the 21st of February, or this season, so that'll be this February coming. And the Great Backyard Bird Count is global, so they're trying to kind of make it a contest, you know, which country can submit the most bird checklists in eBird, which we're going to talk about soon. For instance, a couple of years ago, India came on out of nowhere. Well, I'm sure it was somewhere, but they submitted a whole bunch of bird checklists. And the next one is the Project Feeder Watch, which goes all the way from November to April. And there's some guidelines on that. They like you to pick a couple of days a week and certain hours and try to kind of stick to that routine if you can, but if you can't, that's fine too. So they're trying to make it more of a little bit more scientific, where they can see, since you're spending a similar amount of time each week looking at the birds, then they can see things go up and down, you know, as the months go by and so on. But that's a lot of fun too. They send you some paperwork on how to submit your sightings onto, used to be by paper, but now it's online. And more experience is needed here than if you just showed up and helped with one of the Christmas bird count teams, because on the Christmas bird count teams, there's going to be experienced people on the team with you. And so all we need is more eyes and ears to locate the birds, and then we can let you know what you're seeing. And it's also a really good way, the Christmas bird count is, for new birders to start off, because, you know, if you have a book that's this thick and you don't know what you're seeing, okay, it was gray, I don't know what it was, but, you know, an experienced birder can tell you exactly what it was, sometimes just by the call or the habitat and where it's located, what it's doing, so on. So the additional citizen science projects for research, iNaturalist, I think many of you have used iNaturalist. Has everybody? About half of you have used it. You can use iNaturalist to track bird sightings, insects, plants, mammals. I was going down Stubner Airline about 6 months ago and ran past a dead fox on the road. It was very sad, but circled back safely, parked safely, took a picture of it and submitted that on iNaturalist too. And you just say it's dead, because that's one of the options, alive or dead. But it's useful information because you know there's population in that area. Sadly, that particular one got killed. It's a beautiful animal. Journey North is a program by the University of Wisconsin in Madison, and they track various things, migration and seasonal stuff. The parts I'm familiar with are the monarch tracking and the hummingbird tracking. Have y'all used Journey North? Okay, we did a article last month, I think, about using Journey North. But it's a cool, they really started off about monarchs, and then they've kind of expanded into other areas as well. eBird is a generic tool for reporting bird sightings. It's got an app, or you can do it on the website. The app is great. You go in and you say, I want to start my checklist. It starts tracking you, where you're walking, if you have your location option turned on your cell phone. And then it brings up all the hotspots that are around you. And you can pick one of those, or you can just say, I want to create one in this spot. It's not got a hotspot. A hotspot is a known birding location. It could be a park. It could be a particular trail. It could be a body of water, whatever, whatever that somebody has created a hotspot for. And when you go to log your sightings in there, if you type one tern, it brings up, a tern is a type of shorebird, like a gull. It brings up the list of all the terns that are commonly reported in that place in this time. So, you may have seen something, you saw a gull or you saw a tern, but you're not sure what it was. You can go in there and type gull, and then it'll show you the 3 gulls that are seasonally common at this point. And then it'll show maybe there's some that are less commonly reported, and then there's some that are rare. And of course, if you select one that's rare, you're supposed to put in some comments to kind of indicate that you know what you saw. It's great if you can put a picture of it, but you don't have to. eBird is interesting because it has people assigned as the, I forget the term they use. Anybody know what the term is? The one that reviews all the sightings for an area, maybe.
I've had contact with them, but I can't tell you.
Exactly, they'll email you.
What their title is, but they just re-verify to see what, just to confirm that, yes, I saw this bird, but it's usually one that's an oddity at that point in time, at that location. They may migrate through here, but they're not normally here, so they
Yep.
want to verify, yes, did you see that particular kingfisher that's normally down at the Rio Grande, that happens to be at
Yep,
the woodlands at Fairbanks Reservoir for a week.
we had a vagrant here, yes, exactly. So
Years ago, so that kind of thing, they just want to confirm that what you saw is what you saw.
So they'll email you if you, like Kareen was saying, I'm going to repeat for the audience online. They'll email you and say, that's really not a common bird for this location. Or for instance, when I was traveling overseas, I reported a Chinese pond heron, and the person emailed me back and said, well, you saw it in the winter, and unless you see breeding plumage, you can't tell a Chinese pond heron from this other kind of pond heron. So can you please change your sighting to say the generic term pond heron? And I did. So they'll do things like that because they're trying to keep the eBird database accurate. And so usually those people that do that checking of the eBird are maybe they might do a county. I think they do a county at a time. So it's very interesting. It's nice that it kind of guides you to the birds that are more common for this area. If you go in and, like you say, if you're in North Texas and you say, I saw an Amazon kingfisher, it's going to say, hey, that's very rare for this location. And it's going to make you aware of that and kind of ask you to rethink it, think it through. How about this other kingfisher? How about a belted kingfisher instead? So another citizen science project is the Global Big Day. They pick a day in May, and it's kind of another one of those competitions. 24-hour period where you're trying to see as many as you can. And that's another Cornell project. And Caroline also asked me to give y'all a little bit more information about nature clubs and bird walks. And then I'm going to throw in some information about the bald eagles and Tomball. The Piney Woods Wildlife Society, she mentioned, I've been on the board for many years, and it's just a bunch of nature and bird lovers. And we have a monthly program every month except the summer on a different topic. Anything, could be anything related to nature, birds, mammals. Somebody went to Tanzania and saw a bunch of safaris, took pictures of safari animals. It could be anything. Last month, I don't know if any of y'all joined us for the Gary Clark talk on bird intelligence. A couple of y'all did. And that was very interesting. And I've got that on video. I've got that recorded. If anybody wants to see it, feel free to email me. And these are some of the other topics that we've had. Some will count as advanced training if it's a Texas topic related to nature, birds, but if it's something like birding Southeast Arizona, that wouldn't count. But the Gary Clark one on bird intelligence did count. This month, next Wednesday, a week from tonight, we have a Doug Heiser coming. He's a well-known local artist who has done all kinds of bird murals and beautiful artwork. So we're going to enjoy having him come in and show us his artwork presentation about that, tell us stories about his travels and so on. PineyWoodsWildlifeSociety.org is our website. You can sign up for our once a month newsletter and come to our programs. On this PineyWoodsWildlifeSociety.org page, there's a subpage called Birding Field Trips. And the website is at the bottom, or just go to the main page and you'll see it and click on it. And I give you all kinds of information about free bird walks in the greater Houston area. And I've listed just a few. Jesse Jones has one on the first Saturday of every month, except the summer. Well, in May, except okay, September through April, let's say it that way, 7:45 a.m. Al Barr used to lead that all the time. And now we have different people leading. I lead it sometimes, other volunteers or naturalists or park employees lead it. Kleb Nature Center in Tomball has a first Saturday bird walk at 8 a.m. And they also bird every single Wednesday morning at 8 or 8:30, depending on the month. Kleb Nature Center, the director there is Fred Collins, and some of you may know him. He's a longtime birder in the greater Houston area. He's been here for many, many years. He's a fantastic birder. Next is the Lake Houston Area Nature Club, which is just an informal group of friends. And they lead 2 different bird walks every month, except the summer. Second Saturday at Kingwood at 7:30. And they also lead the Sheldon Lake third Saturday bird walk, except summer, at 8 a.m. And both of those locations, especially Sheldon Lake, which is a park on the east side of town, kind of close to Beltway 8 and I-10 on the east side. It's a great park for bird watching. It in the 50s, it was actually a fishery. So it has a bunch of little ponds that they've allowed to go back to nature. And there are the ponds that are used as rookeries. There are some that they keep more open for ducks and diving birds, and some that they've let grow over for birds that prefer hiding places. And it's got a great big lake there as well that brings in a lot of ducks in the winter. And then it's got prairies as well, so it's got great habitats. The Outdoor Nature Club Ornithology Group has monthly field trips, and they also do programs once a month. They are more centered kind of like in the Bel Air area. And then Houston Audubon has a whole bunch of free monthly bird surveys. Don't let that scare you off. Again, they want more eyes and ears. They're going to have experienced people there. So that's a great way for new birders to learn. This is just a few of their monthly bird surveys that they have. And I've got them all listed. And you can click on the link and go to the Houston Audubon site, and it'll tell you the specifics about where they meet and when. Some are during the week and some are on the weekend. So if you're retired, you might be able to do the Monday through Friday ones, you know. And there's also ones on Saturdays as well, maybe even Sundays. The one closest to us is probably Kickerillo Misher Preserve, which is, you know, where Compact used to be on 249 and Luetta. They donated some land that was made into a park that's got beautiful lake that they walk all the way around. It's about 1.5 miles. And check out what birds that is third Monday, I believe. Marianne Weber from the Houston Audubon comes up and leads that usually. But there's all these other parks as well, and it's a cool way to see what there is around the greater Houston area. And last but not least, how many of y'all are familiar with the bald eagles that have been nesting in the woodlands for years and years? Well, they decided to move a little deeper into the forest a couple of years ago. So they're no longer visible from Lakefront Circle, from the Methodist Church parking lot, where we all used to like to go and watch the eagles and the eaglets as they learn to fly. So a couple of years ago, I normally take some girlfriends up there every year or two to watch them at the time when the eaglets are growing up and learning to fly. And I found out that they had moved, and I was reaching out trying to find a visible nest somewhere hopefully close to me. And I found out from a couple of folks at the Club Nature Center in Tomball that there was a eagle's nest right in Tomball. Behind the Target at 2920 and 249, there's a detention pond, and then beyond that are some pines, and just right there. It's like 700 feet from where you can sit on the grass and look. So you can't really see them naked eye, but if you have binoculars or a bird scope or something, you can see them. The most exciting time is February through May, when the baby eagles are visible. They lay their nests, they lay their eggs in November. They hatch around Christmas time or the January, and then the little baby head pops up usually in February. And then March, April, and May is crazy with the big eaglets flapping their wings and, branching out and everything. So it gets pretty exciting. If you join us on this Facebook page, Enjoy the Tomball Bald Eagles, you can watch people as they put their photos. There's some photographers out there with the cameras that are, 3-4 feet long, and they post some really beautiful pictures. Here's just a few of the pictures. Well, just a couple of the pictures here that have been posted. Let's see if I can drag this down. So that is in the upper right is a eaglet, and as typical as is not uncommon with birds, by the time they leave the nest, baby birds are as big as the adults, if not slightly bigger. And is that not a mean looking face there? And they'll be flapping their wings and getting some air, and then they'll start to branch out. They'll fly to branches or walk up the branches. And I've got some information on the Facebook page on how to find the nest. That's the nest tree. You'd look at that and you wouldn't even see it. It's just amazing how you can look at the tree. I'm sitting there right next to a person I'm describing. Well, it's the 2 tall trees and it's one to the right, no idea. And then I say, look through my scope, and you're like, ah. And so this is the target at that location. You can drive around the back and park in these marked parking spots. And then you walk up to the grass that's right here, and you're looking across this detention pond, right here, that's fenced off at the nest that's right in that tree. All right, any questions for me? I'll repeat the questions for the online folks. And then online folks, I got some chat questions here. Can we create other circles? Yes. The hard part is how to find a spot between the existing circles, because they really don't want the circles to overlap. It's not just it's a little bit more formal than something, we might do on our own. So yeah, you can get with the Audubon National Society and tell them you want to be a compiler, but it's kind of a big thing to take on. Usually you keep, that's one of those jobs that you keep for 10 or 20 years, you know? Al Barr had it for 20 years and I took it over from him, I don't know how many years ago. And so yes, you can, but it's kind of hard in the greater Houston area to find a spot that isn't already covered by something. Probably be better to start by, you know, getting involved with one of the compilers, maybe becoming a team leader or help with teams, that kind of thing for a few years to get into it. And then Ms. Anita is pointing out that the Mercer, there's Al Barr is leading that. Oh, she's talking about October 28th. Okay. Every month, the Mercer Botanic Gardens also has a bird walk. And I believe I have that on my website, but I didn't list it on the presentation because there's probably twice as many as I listed on my webpage. But she's pointing out that there's a bird walk coming up at Mercer on October 28th, 8 a.m. And you need to register at that website. All right, let's see what else we got here. Why can't I make this go down? Go up. Okay. Oh, all right. How does a bird count eliminate multiple counts for the same bird? The team leaders think about that, you know, so if we're walking out a trail and back, then we don't recount the same stuff that we see. If we see a larger number, we'll add to our count. Also, bird leaders, the team leaders know what the territory is for different things. Chickadees might have a lot smaller territory. They might end up only going a quarter of a mile in that time that we're walking around. Whereas hawks, you know, they can cover miles and miles. So we're like, okay, we're seeing another red-tailed hawk. Should we add to our count? Yes or no? You know, we just kind of do that. Judgment calls. It's a judgment call for sure. And the same thing for like on the Cypress Creek count out in the west. Sometimes they ask us to make note of the time and the direction when we see large flocks of geese and ducks flying, especially geese. So we'll say we saw a group of what we estimated to be 500 at 9:30 and they were flying north. And then the compiler will look at all of those reports and say, okay, that was the same group of 500 that was going north. So we won't add to it. But, you know, if it was a different time and heading in a different direction, you know, he'll add to it. So for that count in the past years, you know, they would tell you maybe 10,000 snow geese. So crazy numbers. And of course, those numbers are coming down, unfortunately, but okay. And let's see. That was a reminder from Brenda about tomorrow is tree nursery work day at Jones Forest. Don't forget. Is there? Okay. Al Barr is still doing the owling. Okay. Remember I showed you where the section that Al Barr leads for the Christmas bird count. He also does owling in that section. He'll meet at 4:30 at a McDonald's, specific McDonald's, get the group together and go out. And he goes down a path in Punt Park, I believe. And it's a place that cars aren't allowed, but they allow it for that particular time. And they go in a group of 3 or 4 cars or whatever. COVID, it was more because we couldn't carpool, and then they'll go a half a mile, stop, get out, play the tapes, listen for the stuff. They'll see or hear owls, and he'll keep count of how many he sees, and he'll keep doing that for several miles. And then he goes and takes a rest, and then he gets back out there at 8 a.m. and leads the birders. And that is a lot of fun. Anita goes out every year with Al, and, you know, as well as at least a half a dozen other people, sometimes 10 or 15, but that's a lot of fun if you've never gone owling. Okay, let's see, anything else? All right, any other questions for him here in the room? Yes, ma'am.
On that note with counting and not duplicating. So for example, if you're doing the Project Feeder Watch, and you do that for a period of time, okay, how do you know?
The rules for Project Feeder Watch are very specific, and they teach you that. Mari asked what are the rules for Project Feeder Watch, and how do you stop from duplicating there? What Project Feeder Watch says for you to do, and what I also have my feeder watchers do for the Christmas bird count, is that you can only report to me the maximum number of that species you see at one time. So you only saw, okay, I saw 1 chickadee, then I saw 3, then I saw 2, and then later on I saw 3 more. You don't add those up and say 9, you say 3. Now, you can cheat a little bit with when the males and the females look different. You know, if you saw 1 female cardinal and later 1 male cardinal, you never saw 2 together, you could still report 2, because that you obviously is 2 different birds. But that's the way it works for Feeder Watch.
And that would be the same for the great backyard bird
Yep.
count too?
Yep.
Okay.
As well. Yep. The same rules would apply for the great backyard bird count. Any other questions? Question, okay. And it's on the very bottom. Oop. It's cycling through for me, isn't it? Yeah, that was it. Okay, any other questions? If you want, in your online, you can unmute yourself and talk. You don't have to type. Any questions here? Because we can hear you. They have it mic'd up for the Zoom to come through.
When do you start gathering teams together? Because I know we created a list to let us know. So like how early in the summer we start.
Caroline asked, how early do I start collecting teams for the Christmas bird count? As soon as the Christmas bird count happens, the next day I tell the leaders to save the day for next year. And I usually I'll send an email out once I compile all the information and enter it. It takes me days, several days, weeks, whatever, depending on how much time I spend on it. Usually about in a week I'll have that, and I'll email that out to everybody that was on a team, and I'll say, oh, by the way, save the date for next year. But I don't start tracking them down until about now.
She has already started.
I did confirm.
I will let you know, I've already been dictated to do it, so we're already working on the Jones Forest. Jim Renfro and I are actually gonna do an intro to eBird, use of eBird in Merlin, hopefully the end of November or first week of December.
Yeah.
Just prior to the Christmas bird count on the 18th at Jones Forest. I think we're gonna do this on Saturday, and we'll set it up where we go into classroom for 45 minutes, and then we'll go on to a walk for a couple hours in Jones Forest, sort of as a trial practice run. Get people used to how to use eBird, and just sort of get comfortable with the habitat, so you know where we're looking on the count day, especially like when we're looking for the red blockade, we know where we likely spot to see the blockade is here versus there. So we want to sort of find those areas a couple weeks ahead of time and make sure we got people in those areas on that Saturday morning. Take a look for them. Hopefully this year will be nicer. She was saying last year we had rain.
Yeah,
It was cold and
tough
dry.
day.
So not a whole lot got done. Unfortunately, it's always fun. You never know what you're going to see. Looking forward to it.
So that was Crean talking about his plans for the Christmas bird count on the 18th at Jones State Forest. And he mentioned that he's going to have a class in November or December to teach new birders about eBird and about using Merlin to identify what bird they're seeing. And that's a great class, no matter what team you're going to be on. And he's also going to go out, take the interns and others out into the forest to practice their bird watching. So yeah, I've already reached out to the team leaders to confirm, and then I'll start emailing. I probably will wait into November to email the people that are on the teams to see if they can join. And then I keep tracking the spreadsheet, who said yes, who said no. And I also have to work on the tally sheet that we use, because it changes every year. For my Christmas bird count, there's a rule from the Audubon Society that only birds that have been seen, I believe it's 8 out of the last 10 tallies, Christmas bird counts, Spring Creek specific to my count, can be tallied up without a write-up. Okay, so if something is becoming not seen all the time, if it's only seen 7 times out of the last 10, then we have to write up a little sheet. Nothing, no blood, no nothing, but just your name, you know, what your optics were, where you saw it, how you knew what it was, how you eliminated other stuff. So we usually have to do about 10 or 12 species that way every year. And it's nice if we have photos, and then it makes it easy. The Texas coordinator, who is, what's his name? Oh man, come on. Can't think of it. He's a well-known guy from the Texas parks down in the Victoria area.
Brent Ortego.
Ortego, Brent Ortego, thank you. He's the one that has to pass muster with, or he'll just like say, no, throwing that one out, you know. But any other questions in the room? Yes, ma'am.
What are your requirements to be a leader? How do you go about training a person to do that?
Yeah, if you say yes, you are it. It's not a very high bar. But I basically, I'm just seeking out different people that I know that you know are suckers and say yes. But yeah, we'd love to have you if you're interested. And you can partner up with somebody, and that'd be a good way if you're not sure, you know, how to do it or what. It's pretty common for us to put a experienced leader with a less experienced leader, and then you know, then you figure it out. It's not brain surgery. So
I can identify all the birds in your shirt. So.
exactly. And these are not usual for this area, all of them, right? So you birded in the valley, right? You would be excellent to have. Any other questions? I think I saw one more hand. No. And I don't see anything more on the chat. Well, thank you very much. I have my card is here if you want to take a picture, and if you have any questions. I love answering questions about birding, so you're welcome anytime to text, call me, or email me. Thank you very much.